Hello children, welcome to the second part of the shadow and the flash. Children, we studied in part 1 that Lloyd, Paul and Jack are three friends, and Paul is working on a project based on transparency and Lloyd is working on a project based on color sensation. And Jack, he is the narrator here who is usually the peacemaker between them. Now we'll read in the second part and see whether Paul and Lloyd were successful in their projects or not. I visited Lloyd's laboratory a number of times after that day and found him always deep in his search after the absolute black. Now here the narrator visited Lloyd in his laboratory a number of times and he always found Lloyd very busy in the search of the absolute black. White color is composed of 7 colors, he argued to me, but it is itself invisible only by being reflected from objects do it and the objects become visible. But only the portion of it that is reflected becomes visible. Dear children, these words are spoken by Lloyd to the narrator and he tells him that the white light consists of 7 colors. But the white color is itself invisible. He tells him that only when the light is reflected on the objects become visible, and that too, the portion on which the light is reflected, only that portion is visible. When we paint our houses, we do not apply color to them. What we do is to apply certain substances that have the property of absorbing from white light all the colors except those that we would have our houses appear. When a substance reflects all the colors to the eye, it seems to us white. When it absorbs all the colors, it is black. But, as I said before, we have as yet no perfect black. All the colors are not absorbed. The perfect black guarding against bright lights will be absolutely invisible. Children, now here Lloyd is giving the narrator an example. He says that when we paint our house, we don't apply colors. Instead, we apply certain substances that have the property of absorbing from white light all colors. And when a substance reflects all the colors to the eye, it seems to us white in color. And when it absorbs all the colors, it is black. But then he contradicts by saying that as yet he has no perfect black. So in such a case, all the colors are not absorbed. The perfect black that guards against the bright color will thus make it absolutely invisible. I used to find Paul Tichlorn similarly occupied with his own line of research. Here the narrator tells us that whenever he visited Paul Tichlorn, he was also busy in his project work, that is research on transparency. Transparency, a state or quality of body which permits all rays of light to pass through. He defined for me, that is what I am seeking. A transparent body casts no shadow, neither does it reflect light waves. That is, the perfectly transparent does it. In this paragraph explains the narrator what transparency is. Paul tells him that he was seeking, that means he was looking for a transparent body as it casts no shadow nor does it reflect any light. And this is what he calls is perfectly transparent. I am looking for the proper chemicals which acting upon the living organisms will turn it to transparency. All light will pass through it, it will be invisible, it will cast no shadow. Paul in these lines tells the narrator that he is looking for the proper chemicals which can get along with the living organisms and make them transparent. All light will then pass through it as it's transparent and it will become invisible, and the most important thing that it will cast no shadow. A few weeks went by. I went over to Lloyd's place. When I came upon the glade where his laboratory stood, I found to my complete astonishment no sign of the building. I started to walk across what had once been its site. All of a sudden, I struck my toe on some obstacle, pitched forward, and butted my head into something that felt very much like a door. I reached out my hand. It was a door. I found the knob and turned it, and at once, as the door swung inward on its hinges, the whole interior of the laboratory became visible. It was indeed startling, this sudden change from nothingness to light and form and color. Now here, after a few weeks, the narrator, that is Jack, went to visit Lloyd's place. He came upon the glade. Glade means a clearing in the middle of the forest. But to his surprise, he could not find his laboratory. Suddenly there was something in the between where the narrator butted, that means bumped his head, and that seemed to him like a door. He stretched his hand and found a knob and turned it, and when he opened it, the entire laboratory was visible, and the narrator was totally startled to see from nothing to light, form, and color. "What do you think of it, Lloyd asked. "I slapped a couple of coats of absolute black on the outside yesterday afternoon to see how it worked." Lloyd is now asking Jack about his project. He tells him that he applied coating of absolute black color outside to know whether it would work or not. Long we talked that last morning in his laboratory, and when I turned to go, he said, "Now I shall conquer the world." So, children, with these lines, we can understand that finally Lloyd was successful in his project, that is color sensation. Later that afternoon, I went to meet Paul. As I came spinning up the driveway on my wheel, Paul called me from the tennis court. I got down and went over, but the court was empty. As I stood there, gaping open-mouthed, a tennis ball struck me on the arm. As I turned about, I saw a rainbow flash appearing and disappearing and darting over the ground. I realized with amazement that Paul too had succeeded. I ran after the rainbow flash with the racket in hand. When I had laid the racket upon it for a half dozen strong blows, Paul's voice rang out. "Enough, enough! Oh, ouch! Stop! I only wanted to see my metamorphosis." Later now, the narrator, he went to meet Paul, and when he was passing through in his car, Paul called Jack, that is the narrator, at the tennis court. He found the court was empty. Then suddenly a ball struck the narrator on the arm, and when the narrator turned, he saw a rainbow flash that kept appearing and disappearing. Then the narrator finally realized that Paul had also succeeded in his experiment. Then the narrator ran after Paul with his racket, and he almost gave him half dozen, that means 6 times he gave him strong blows with it. And Paul finally asked him to stop, as he only wanted the narrator to see his complete change. A few minutes later, we were playing tennis. I was at a disadvantage, of course, for I could have no knowledge of his position except for when he flashed like a rainbow. In the midst of our play, close to the net, I saw a ball rebound in midair and empty space. At the same instant, some feet away, Paul Tichlorn gave out a rainbow flash. Surely he could not be the one from whom the ball had rebounded. With sickening dread, I realized that Lloyd Inwood had come upon the scene. To make certain, I looked for his shadow, and there it was, a shapeless blotch moving along the ground. I felt sure that all the long years of rivalry were about to culminate in frightful battle. Now both Jack and Paul, they start to play tennis, and of course, being invisible, Paul was at an advantage. But in the middle of the play, the narrator saw a ball rebound in midair, an empty space, and to the narrator's dread, that is fear, it was Lloyd. The narrator looked for his shadow, and there it was, a sharpless patch moving on the ground. Now the narrator was sure that the long years' rivalry was to take place as a frightful battle. I heard a snarl, as of a wild beast, and an answering snarl. I saw the dark blotch move swiftly across the court, and a brilliant burst of varied colored light moving with equal swiftness to meet it, and then shadow and flash came together, and there was the sound of unseen blows. The net went down before my frightened eyes. The narrator here, he heard the snarl. Snarl means the sound that animals make when they are angry. So now both Paul and Lloyd were there as the shadow and the flash. The narrator could hear the sound of the unseen blows, and the net went down before his eyes. The noonday sun beat down with dazzling brightness on the naked tennis court. All I could see was the blotch of shadow and the rainbow flashes, the dust rising from the invisible feet, the earth tearing up from beneath the straining foot grips, and the wire screen bulge once or twice as their bodies hurled against it. That was all, and after a time even that ended. There were no more flashes, and the shadow had become long and stationary. In this last paragraph, the narrator tells us that it was afternoon and the sun shone on the tennis court. He could only see the blotch, means a patch of shadow and rainbow flashes. The dust rose from the invisible feet, and both the bodies hit each other. Then that was all. After some time, this too ended. There were no flashes, and the shadow became long and constant. So everything came to a halt. So, children, I hope you enjoyed the amazing science fiction. So, thanks for watching. All the best, and God bless you all.